Morning, Year 11. Today we're going to look at simplifying algebraic fractions. So there's a title, date, learn objective on the board, and a starter. If you can pause the video now, give yourself 5 minutes to complete the starter. Okay, so let's go through the answers to the starter. So we have 6x plus 18. So we'd like to factorize that. So what is a common factor of both 6x and 18? Well, the largest factor of both is 6. So we get 6x plus 3. So the next question, x squared plus 3x. So what's common to both? X plus 3. Okay, the third question for the starter, x cubed plus 4x squared. So when I look at these two, so I can see x goes into both, but also x squared will go into both. So that's the largest factor of both. What do I have to multiply x squared by to get to x cubed? X, and I have to multiply x squared by 4 to get to 4x squared. Finally, 3x cubed minus 15x. So both of these have a number coefficient, 3 and 15. So I'm looking for the largest number factor of both 3 and 15, which is obviously 3. And then I look at the x components. We've got an x cubed and an x, so the largest factor of both would be the x. I've already got my 3, so I don't need to multiply by anything other than 1. We don't need to write the 1, but if it helps you, you can write the 1. So what I have to multiply x by to get to x cubed? X squared. And now this is a negative sign, so this will be a negative sign. 3 to get to 15 is 5, and the x is already in place, so I can close the brackets. Right, so just check your answers, make sure that you do any corrections that you need to do. So now let's move on to your next piece of work. So what I would like us to do is I would like us to simplify these fractions. So look at what's common on the numerator to the denominator. We did some similar questions to this last week. So pause the video for 3 minutes, give yourself a chance to complete them, and then we can go through the answers. So our first one, x over x cubed. So if I notice what's common to both top and bottom is an x. So if I divide this by x, I end up with 1 on the top. If I divide x cubed by x, I have x squared on the bottom. Okay, so now 5x cubed over x. So I look top and bottom. X is common to both. So obviously x divided by x gives me 1. I don't need to write that numerator, but I will to start with. So now x cubed divided by x is x squared. We haven't touched the 5, so we just end up with 5x squared. And the last one, 10x to the power 4 over 2x squared. So let's look at the coefficients, the numbers out the front. What's common to 10 and 2? Obviously the 2. That becomes 1, that becomes 5. So I have 5 on my numerator. Now I look at the x components. I've got an x squared and an x to the power 4. X squared goes into there once, and that would become x squared. So we get 5x squared over 1 again, which again simplifies to 5x squared. Okay, please check your answers and do any corrections that you need to. So now there are 3 questions for you to factorise. Again, pause the video for 4 minutes. Give yourself a chance to factorise each of those 3 expressions. Be careful on B. Remember that this will factorise to a double bracket. Think about what will be inside each bracket. So pause the video now for 4 minutes. Now let's go through the answers. So x squared minus 9x plus 18 will factorise to give us x. So I'm looking for 2 numbers multiplied together to give you a positive 18 and add together to give you a negative. So that tells me both signs are negative, and it's going to be negative 6 and negative 3. Negative 6 plus negative 3 gives you negative 9. Negative 6 times by negative 3 gives you positive 18. Now B, x squared minus 81. I notice straight away there's no x coefficient in the middle. So I know the 2 numbers must add together to give me 0. So I must have a positive and a negative, 9 and 9. 9 multiplied by negative 9 is negative 81. Positive 9 plus negative 9 gives you the 0 x squared in the middle. The third one, 5x squared plus 21x plus 4. Okay, so it can be 5x and x. So I notice that 2 numbers multiplied together give you 4. Okay, are 1 and 4. If I place the 1 here and the 4 here, I get 20x plus 1x gives me my 21x. Again, check your answers, make sure you've got them all correct. And then we can move on to the next part. So now we are going to have some more questions for you to simplify. So when we look through them, look for anything that is common in the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so think about your fractions. Okay, if you see anything that's squared, think about writing that bracket out twice. It will make it easier when you come to do your simplifying. Okay, so pause the video now for 4 minutes. Give yourself 4 minutes to answer these questions, then we'll go through the answers. So I've got x over xy. So what's common to both? The x. So x divided by x is 1, x divided by x is 1, so we'll end up with 1 over y. Okay, so the next one, x plus 6 over 3x plus 6. Well, if I place this numerator in a bracket, I can see it both have got x plus 6 in it. So when I cancel these 2 out, I end up with 1 on the top and 3 on the bottom. So C, let's have a look at C. So C is going to be x minus 7 over x minus 7 squared. So this is why I've said write the squared brackets as your double brackets, and this will help you see that I can cancel these out to give me 1 on the top over x minus 7. D, let's have a look at D. X plus 2 x minus 1 over x minus 1 x minus 5. So the x minus 1 brackets will cancel to give me x plus 2 over x minus 5. Hopefully we are happy with that one. E, x plus 9 over x minus 1, sorry, x minus 3 over x plus 9. So again, I see that the x plus 9's cancel. So I'm left with x minus 3 over x, which can't be simplified any further. And the last question is x squared x minus 1 over x minus 1 squared. So again, I'm going to write that as x squared x minus 1 over x minus 1 x minus 1. Straight away, I can cancel out the x minus 1 brackets. This question, I've also got to notice that x will go into x squared, so that will cancel to make that an x on the top. I'm left with x over x minus 1. Okay, so please make sure you've done any corrections you need to. And now let's move on to the next slide. So give yourself 3 minutes to simplify those fully. Do your factorizing where you need to, and then we will check the answers shortly. So pause the video, give yourself 3 minutes. Okay, so let's go through some answers. X squared plus 8x over x. So I'm going to factorize the numerator. X goes into both. I end up with x plus 8 in a bracket over x. We should notice that the x's will cancel, so I'm just left with x plus 8. For b, I've got 12x squared plus 15x over 4x plus 5. So I'm looking at these and I'm thinking the denominator doesn't factorize. Okay, there's nothing common between 4x and 5. So I'm suspecting that 4x plus 5 will be a factor of this numerator. So let's have a look at the numerator. What goes into 12 and 15? 3. What goes into x squared and x? X. What do I have to multiply 3x by to get to 12x squared? 4x. What do I have to multiply 3x by to get to plus 15x plus 5? So my suspicions were correct. 4x plus 5 is a factor of 12x squared plus 15x. And now I'll just cancel to just leave me with 3x. Okay, for C, 10x minus 25 over 4x squared minus 10x. So I'm looking at the top and I can see 5 goes into both. So 5, open bracket, 2x minus 5. Now when I look at the numerator, the denominator, I notice 2 goes into 10x and 4x squared, as does an x. Now here, I'm going to have 2x multiplied by 2x gives me 4x squared. 2x multiplied by minus 5 gives you minus 10x. The two brackets will cancel to leave 5 over 2x. And then that's those questions completed. So now we'll skip that question. Can you factorize those two numerators and denominators where possible and simplify? Give yourself 5 minutes. So pause the video now and then we'll go through the answers in 5 minutes. Okay, so let's go through the answers. So whenever I see these questions and I notice there's an x plus 3 in a bracket on the numerator, that must be a factor of the denominator. Otherwise, there's nothing to cancel. So numerator stays the same. I know that x plus 3 must be a factor of the denominator. So I'm looking 3 multiplied by what gives me 15, and 3 plus what gives me 8, x plus 5. So now the x plus 3 brackets will cancel to give me 2 over x plus 5. Similarly, I know that x plus 2 must be a factor of the numerator. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to simplify this fraction. So there'd be no question to ask. So x plus 2 on the top, 5 over x plus 2 on the bottom. So what do I have to multiply 2 by to get to minus 6? And what do I have to add to get to minus 1? Minus 3. So now these two can cancel and end up with x minus 3 over 5. Excellent. Please do any corrections you need to do, and then we will move on to the next question. So on this question, you need to factorize both the numerator and the denominator. So I would suggest starting with the numerator, as that seems to be easier to factorize. Okay, so factorize the numerator, and then one of those brackets will also be a factor of the denominator. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that the top will factorize to give me x plus 1, x plus 4. Now looking at the denominator, I notice 4 goes into 28. So I'm suspecting x plus 4 will go into the denominator. So pause the video for 1 minute, give it a go, and then we'll go through the answer. Okay. Are we ready to go through the answer? So we've noticed the numerator will be x plus 1, x plus 4. Now I've noticed that 4 goes into 28, so I'm thinking x plus 4 is a factor of the denominator. What would I have to multiply 4 by to get to minus 28? Minus 7. Minus 7 plus the 4 gives me my minus 3. So I can cancel the x plus 4 brackets to leave me with x plus 1 over x minus 7. So that is complete. So now you have until the end of the lesson to factorize fully these 3 questions. So pause the video there and give yourself 15 minutes to factorize and simplify those fractions. Okay, so let's go through the answers. So the numerator, x plus 3, x plus 5. Now one of these two must go into here. Okay, and I'm looking and I'm thinking it's the plus 5 because I end up with a positive 2x. So it's my x plus 5, and this is going to be x minus 3. So I get my negative 15 minus 3 plus 5 gives me my plus 2. These two will cancel to give me x plus 3 over x minus 3. Next one. Multiply together give you positive, add together give you negative. So both negatives, negative 5, negative 6. Okay. Does 5 go into 42? No. So the x minus 6 must be a factor of the bottom. And to get to 42, it must be plus 7, because then plus 7 minus 6 adds together give you plus 1. plus 7 multiplied by minus 6 gives you minus 42. The x minus 6 brackets cancel to give me x minus 5 over x plus 7. And finally, we need to recognise this is going to be x plus 5, x minus 5. And we can write the squared bracket as a double bracket. The 2x plus 5s will cancel to give me x minus 5 over x plus 5. Okay, well done this lesson, guys, and I shall speak to you again soon.